Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's information session. Is Ryan Hassan here, and I'm joined by Matt Kay. Matt, how are you today?
I'm all right, thanks, mate. How are you?
Just all right. I'm just all right too, but I'm not doing too bad. But I'm very excited to talk about this new membership that we have created here. You may have seen us post about this just a couple of weeks ago. It's a very fresh thing that we've just created, and we thought we would jump on here today. And we're not really sure how long we're going to go for, but we're just going to talk about what the Healing Hub is, why we've created it, what's included in the Healing Hub, and just why we feel it's really important on your healing journey. And a lot of our audience now at the Center for Healing are, yes, those people who are maybe in one-on-one therapy or looking to do that and are on that path and wanting to improve. But also we have a lot of practitioners now, counselors, psychologists, social workers, healers, all sorts of people tuning in, and we listen essentially. So for those who don't know, myself and Matt are creators of embodied processing, a modality for working with stored stress in the body and these traumatic imprints that we all pick up throughout life. And we asked a lot of our community, not just in EP, but throughout the Center for Healing, like, what knocks you off the path? Because Matt, and this might be a great place to start for you, Matt, but like, healing is a lifestyle. It's not something that we can, do, especially if we have a lot of trauma, something that we can do a couple of sessions here and there on, and then just sort of dust our hands and go, all right, I'm done. It's something that takes continual attention.
Yeah, 100%. I heard a story about this lady. She was a qigong teacher and like a profound healer over in China, and so she would run qigong classes, and people would get relief from their symptoms. They'd experience healings and whatnot, and so then they'd go out into the world, live their life, but end up having to keep coming back. And it's exactly the same as with kind of sessions. And so what she started doing is teaching them how to do qigong themselves. So they'd wake up in the morning, do their qigong practice, and embed it through the day, integrate the different movements throughout, how they move and orient through the day, the different foods that they should eat, etc., etc. So then the healing itself became integrated into their lives, and then they stopped needing to always come back. And it's the same thing that I've seen with clients, and with myself. It's kind of like, if we take that attitude, like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go for a session, heal my trauma, like hoist my flag, like, yep, I'm healed, set up camp, like that's it. Just need to do a few sessions. We're severely limiting the degree to which we can integrate. So it's not, and it's kind of like with plant medicines, with everything, we can go and have an experience, maybe discharge some energy, open ourselves up a bit. But then it's like we go back into our daily lives and we feel the kind of prison start to unconsciously kind of rebuild
Rebuild
itself.
itself.
Yeah, like we might deal with money issues, beliefs we have about money. We might deal with an experience, of our dad yelling at us when we were a child, and then for the next like week we're feeling empowered, and when our boss starts screaming, we don't get as activated. We feel like oh yeah, like I'm open to earning more money, or I'm open to more relationships, whatever it is. Like we do this work on many different things and areas and topics in our lives. But then it's kind of like, yeah, it starts to slowly rebuild. And it's actually, say like a plant medicine, it's actually after and prior in our lives, how we're conducting ourselves, our orientation in our daily lives, that will be the deciding factor of whether we integrate it or not. I was just speaking to one of my friends, and he took ayahuasca a few years ago, and he said he's only just starting to integrate it, and he does constantly, like he's very devoted he's a Chinese medicine practitioner, and so he's always in that kind of practice of yin and yang throughout his
Yeah.
life. So it's what happens outside of session is the deciding factor of whether we integrate what happens in session. And so we can go for a trauma healing session, but it's kind of like if we just leave and go back to our original same environment, same habitual patterns, same workplace, etc., it's like a kind of whirlpool that we can slowly or even very quickly get sucked back into. And it's only through like integrating and understanding, practicing in our daily lives that can help keep us centered and stable to then integrate ongoing transformation rather than just one big kind of experience or little experience, and then it just kind of fizzles out.
There's two analogies that I like to use, and whether your nature listing, you want to resonate with one or the other. And one of them, if we think of our mental and emotional health, it can be like going to the gym and we might be really out of shape. It's something that we've just become aware of, that we have all these patterns and these emotions and these, imprints from our past. And so we start going to the gym, we realize we're out of shape, and we do all this work and we start exercising and eating the right foods and cutting out sugar and all of that. And we kind of get to a point where we're like, okay, I think I'm okay. This was kind of my goal. I got to this, whatever my goal was for my body. So now I can just sit on the couch and eat chips for the rest of my life. It's not going to be very long before we end up out of shape again. The other analogy, and we've probably used this before in courses, Matt, it's that we open the back door and realize our garden is an absolute mess. The lawn, the plants, everything, it's overgrown. It's a jungle out there. And so we go really, really hard, and we spend a few weeks and maybe even a few months tending to that garden and getting it to a place where it's a really beautiful space to be in. But then we close the door again and don't look at it for months and even years. And so that garden's going to become overgrown again. And, a lot of our community find that, and while we're talking, it's probably a good time for me to bring this up, is that, when we asked our community, like, what was knocking you off the path, these were some of the most common answers that we got. One of them, it becomes repetitive and stale, which means that, not that there's anything wrong, and this does work for a lot of people, but some people choose just one path. Let's say it's transcendental meditation. It's the same meditation, morning and evening, 20 minutes, and that's all that we do. And some people can find that not stimulating or interesting enough. I suppose it's not mixing it up. Life gets in the way. This was kind of the biggest one. Like, we all have responsibilities and things that are happening in our life. We have our careers, we have money, we have family, kids. We're trying to socialize, trying to find time just to unwind and help ourselves relax. And so life can get in the way of that. There's not enough reminders and accountability. There's not that gentle tap on the shoulder to say, hey, have you been aware of this today, or have you incorporated that practice today? There's a book at the minute that I've been meaning to read, and I read the first few pages and left it on a bench, and I realized about 3 months later that it's still on the bench because I had no one telling me, Ryan, hey, remember you were going to read that book? So accountability and reminders. And the last one there is I go all in and then can't sustain it. And that's the one where we dive head first. And maybe, Matt, you could talk about this. Like, this healing journey can be a rabbit hole. It can open up so many different perspectives and ways of life and thinking things that we had never thought before. And sometimes we dive down that rabbit hole and make it so much a part of our life that we can't sustain it. And after a few months, we tend to just leave it and push it to the side because it becomes too much.
It becomes unsustainable. Like it says it in the sentence, like, I can't sustain it, and like, in my perspective and experience and observation, is sustainability comes from small integrative shifts. It doesn't come from one big boom, like, oh, yep, I've healed that, done, and then we don't give it any more attention, because as we've said, often these things can start to reassert themselves. And so sustainability comes from moments, incremental building on it, because if we have an incremental shift, say through the day, our practice is like, okay, I'm going to start to cultivate body awareness and track my nervous system states through the day. And so it's like, okay, I see when I wake up and have to get the kids to school, I'm in a flight response. I'm in a bit of a panic. Come on, get your shoes on, pack your bag. Oh my God, grab your lunch, blah, 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 like lots of parents get. And then it's like, okay, I notice that in the morning. I'm aware of my body. That's my practice. Maybe I take 5 minutes before I wake the kids up, and, oh, yep, I can feel that kind of churning fire in my belly, a sense of panic. So I might learn to be with that. Bring some kind of soothing energy to it, and, place my hand on that energy, be with it, rather than it kind of the energy itself, like a wind-up doll, get me out of bed, start running the show, just go completely unconscious to it. The practice might be to just simply be aware of it, soothing energy to it. And then I get out of bed and I start to act from a different place, and if I find myself, oh, yep, it's coming back, I can feel that fire starting to roar, like, oh my God, we've only got 15 minutes. That one thought might trigger it back up. And it's like, oh no, my body awareness, my practice to bring some presence to this part of me. It's like I practice that incrementally through the day. That then becomes habitual, to kind of intercept, have inner awareness, to not go unconscious. That then starts to integrate into my day, and then I drop the kids off and I can feel like, oh yeah, my system calms down. I'm not talking personally here, but it's just a very common pattern. Definitely how I was gotten to school. And, like maybe I can start to use different breathing practices or use different kind of movement practices, to start to calm that energy down. And then I drop the kids off and, maybe my patterns then to go into a kind of shutdown. And then for the rest of the day, just like from a dissociated place, and maybe I can start to notice that and cultivate awareness, inner awareness through the day. And through that inner awareness, through that ability to remain present, we can start to make the unconscious conscious. So we actually start to be more or have more agency over our lives. And so those small sustainable things that we integrate throughout our lives, it's like that's what brings about lasting transformation. Sessions can 100% be helpful to have shifts and move things through and develop therapeutic relationship with the person we're working with and co-regulate. That's super important, but that's just one side of the coin.
That might be getting the garden in order in the first place. But
Yeah,
we're
exactly.
talking now about that tending to the garden so it stays in a
Yeah,
nice place.
we hire a team to help us get rid of all the weeds, or like we like a community sense to tend to our garden to help us get things back on track. But the actual ongoing maintenance and integration where the garden stays nice, we help to keep it in a healthy state, like that can't be bypassed. Like that's the other side of the coin. Otherwise it's kind of like a half-baked experience.
Yeah, so true, so true. And thank you for everyone who's joining us live. By the way, I can see the where you're tuning in from. And Debbie wrote it beautifully here: being consistent. It's being
Exactly.
consistent on this path. And so we're now going to talk about what's actually included in the Healing Hub, and this how we have created this with the idea in mind is how can we become consistent without getting too overwhelmed. So we're going to show all of and taking responsibility, yeah, Debbie, exactly, for our own path. Before I jump into the inclusions here, also, I think I said it at the start, but a lot of practitioners joining us these days, and a lot of them have asked so far, was this something for me or more for my clients? Matt and I recommend it for both, but really, practitioners, in our opinion, should definitely be doing this. We always need to be doing our own work. We always need to be deepening in our own experience. We teach literally modalities at the Center for Healing, whether it's embodied processing, root cause therapy, which are frameworks for how to conduct sessions and help people. But what we'll say over and over again, the thing that's even more important than the frameworks themselves is your attuned presence as a human being in front of your client. And that only comes through being consistent ourselves and working through this and having these practices that can achieve that.
I'll just read something on this topic from The Tao of Trauma by Elaine D. Duncan. It's a great book. I highly recommend it. I posted this in our embodied processing student community. I think it sums well what you were just saying. So, helping trauma survivors restore their inner regulation occurs in the context of relationship. No one can achieve deep or lasting re-regulation outside the context of a safe relationship. This is why it is essential to provide our clients with the experience of attunement with our own, hopefully, more regulated nervous system. This is one reason why it is critically important to attend to our own inner regulation, because it is our most important clinical tool.
Beautiful. Beautifully said. Could not have said it better. So let's get into the inclusion. There's 4 different things here. Okay, the first one is basically access to a whole bunch of different courses that we have at the Center for Healing. And these are courses that, could be between $50 and $500, somewhere in that range, and you have access to all of those. So essentially, if you've got an account with us already, you've done one of our courses, then you'll know how it works. You go to the centerforhealing.com, you'll have login details, and you have a library, and you'll have your courses in there. If you choose to sign up to the Healing Hub, you're going to have a heap. Okay, in there. Don't get overwhelmed. You're going to have a lot of different products in there. And this is essentially there just for you to work through at your own pace and kind of choose your own adventure here. And this might be, instead of, you got an hour or two free in the afternoon, instead of chucking on Netflix, you chuck on a little course on addiction that myself and Matt run. It could be that. There's no time frames on when you do these. You can just pick and choose which one and do them at your own leisure. And we have them on all different topics. These ones here are just a small selection to go through there. So that's the first thing, access to a whole bunch of courses and content. The second one here, this is the big one. Okay, this is the one where we're talking about being consistent, taking responsibility. How can I have these bite-sized chunks of education and practices that I can implement into my life, but also are going to keep me accountable? So myself, Matt, and Noel, for those who don't know, Noel Harburger, psychologist of 20 years, trainer of somatic experiencing, Gestalt training.
He's not a trainer experiencing, just he was a training assistant.
All around just fantastic human being. He's joined Matt and myself in Embodied Processing the last few months, and so us three have got together and we have recorded 52 videos, and I'm sure it will be more. But basically these are in the Healing Hub, are drip fed 1 week at a time, and each video is on a different topic. Each video will have, like I said, a piece of education. Okay, we need to be educated and understand what the topic is, but then more importantly, there'll be an actionable practice for that week that you can start to incorporate into your life. All of these videos we have kept, I'm pretty sure, between 5 and 15 minutes. Maybe a couple just crept over. For those who followed us for a while, that's the hardest thing for me and Matt to do, is to keep stuff short. But I think we've done pretty well because these are bite-sized chunks. So you can see there's two different examples here. One is on the vagus nerve, and there's some vagal exercises there, which are the practices for the week. Another one there is the window of tolerance, so talking about that and growing in capacity. And so these are drip-fed each week. I can even... I'll jump in. I've got the doc open here, but I'll just give you an idea of some of the other topics that we have. Like I said, there's 52 of them at this stage. But sympathetic energy, how to work with that as it comes up in the body, and on the opposing side of that, if we have a lot of parasympathetic energy, how to work with that. We talk about the unconscious mind, working with core beliefs. A lot of the practices are also specific journal prompts, so things that we can write down, questions to be answered and contemplated throughout the week. We talk about trauma-sensitive meditation, how identity is formed, different types of trauma, each of the fight, flight, freeze, and fawn response, boundaries, saying no, emotional awareness. I'll stop there because there's just heaps of them to read out. But basically, there's just a lot of different topics drip-fed 1 week at a time. Matt, is there anything you want to add on the weekly videos topic?
It's designed, to have those bite-sized, sustainable chunks for integrating into our daily lives. It's designed to kind of fill that need that we spoke about earlier on this call. And it's like when I'm seeing clients, and for myself, I'll speak to actually from my personal experience as well. As a practitioner, from the standpoint of being a practitioner, it's like it keeps me centered within myself. It keeps me embodying and integrating, practicing what I preach to my clients, so to speak. It also keeps my nervous system in a space where I can offer my safe presence to my clients. If I'm a dysregulated ball of stress, throughout my daily life, and then I'm attempting to help people, there's a kind of it can create this dissonance and disconnection. And especially, we all know that imposter syndrome, that feeling of being a fraud, if, we're all over the place and not practicing what we preach, but then we're telling our clients to do stuff, it can evoke that sense of being an imposter, I'm not actually doing this stuff myself, I'm just teaching it. And the fact that we teach it can act as a reminder as well, for practitioners. And it's designed on the practitioner level to help practitioners kind of stay on the path, to be able to offer, because to be able to offer what we've got, You know, we're not just offering some intellectual kind of idea about all this stuff. We're offering something that we live. We live this stuff in our daily lives. So then we can sit, and in our presence, what we're teaching is embodied. You know, it's in our physicality. You know, it's felt, it's acted upon in our daily lives. And, you know, then our nervous system is much more in a healthy space, so we can actually offer co-regulation. The client can then attune to our nervous system and feel safe, you know, and develop and experience healing through that. But then, you know, from the client standpoint, it's you know, I was seeing so many clients, you know, come to me for 2 weeks, a month, or come back, and I'd say to them, you know, our nervous system doesn't heal in an hour a week. You know, this is something like the nervous system heals through repetition, consistency, through transforming and integrating these things into our daily lives. And so, you know, I started to develop like just different models and programs for my clients to do outside of session, because I saw it was such a need, you know. So this essentially is for everyone. It can also work even outside of people who are in this space, you know, like if we experience, you know, if say we work in corporate and are always stressed out, like these kind of practices can be really, really beneficial for people in those situations, where they can learn to kind of track their nervous system states, bring in interventions and practices to stay within their window of tolerance, you know. So essentially it's for everyone. Like that's how we've designed it. It's not just for one specific type of person, because everyone has a nervous system and everyone has stress.
Yeah, and we don't like hearing early on that it's not a quick fix. You know, it's human nature to want a pill to make things go away in an instant.
Western nature, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. As you were speaking as well about, you know, being able to incorporate these practices so we can help our clients. Reminded me of that story of Gandhi and the mother who took her young child to see Gandhi, and you could go and have a moment with him, but it would take like hours to line up because there were so many people. And she finally got to the front after hours and said to Gandhi, "Can you tell my son to stop eating sugar because he's eating it all the time and he's, you know, getting overweight and unhealthy?" And Gandhi goes, "No, I'm not going to tell him that." And she's like, "Oh, what?" And so he's like, "Next." And he's like, "Come back in 1 month, though." She's like, "Oh, okay." So she was pretty pissed off and angry about that. But still, 1 month later, she brought her son back, lined up for hours again, got to the front of the line to see Gandhi. And Gandhi looked at the boy and went, "Stop eating sugar." And she goes, "Why didn't you tell him that a month ago?" And he goes, "Because I needed to make sure I could do it first. I wasn't going to
Yeah.
give him advice on something that I wasn't practicing myself." And that's what we're talking about here by incorporating these practices.
Yeah. That's integrity. You know.
That's right. Yes, integrity, and integrity is just such a beautiful feeling to have. It's that centered feeling that we can get when we know that we are walking our talk. The
Yeah.
third thing here is monthly deep dives. So, like I said, one issue that Matt, myself, and Noel have is keeping things short. So, we are also going to have monthly deep dive sessions happening throughout the Healing Hub. So, once a month, there's going to be a topic that we dive deeper into, where we can expand, you know, and we look at these probably going around the half an hour to 45-minute mark, depending on what the topic is. We're also going to be bringing in some of our senior practitioners and people that specialize in certain areas, be it burnout or money or whatever it is, work-related stuff, family stuff, raising kids, all of that kind of thing. We're going to be bringing in different people. So we're going to have these live sessions as well. Just before, I forgot to say as well, with these weekly ones, just so you know kind of how it all works. If you choose to enroll in the Healing Hub, then you immediately get an email and you'll have the first week's video and practice. And then you essentially just get an email every week thereafter saying the new bit of content is ready to be viewed, and you can jump into your library and watch it. It is as simple as that. And so we're doing these monthly deep dive sessions. So they're going to be on different topics. You can jump on live. You can ask questions to myself or Matt or Noel or whoever is running that particular session. It's also a great place to connect with other people. They also will all be recorded. So there's going to be in your library with us, if you choose to enroll in the Healing Hub, there'll be the Healing Hub itself, which are the weekly videos. There'll also be another one called the Healing Hub Deep Dives. So every single one of those that we record is going to be put in there as well. So as we start to, you know, we've just launched this product, but as it goes through time and the months go by, we're going to have a library of these deep dive topics as well, which is another benefit. And like I said, it's just great getting on live, you know, with people and bouncing off each other and all of that. last thing here is community. We do have a private group on Facebook called Trauma Informed Education Training and Support. A lot of you will already be in that group, but for those that aren't, can join that. And we want to create this, that's a space where we're essentially connecting with people all around the world who are of a similar nature. They're on this path, they're trying to work it out, they're practitioners, or they're just on the healing journey. And so we're going to have this space as well for people in the hub to be able to share, what practices are resonating with them or how they're incorporating them into their life. And we can see then friendships formed and people connecting from all over the globe. And there's already quite a few, 12,000 people in that group now. So there's a lot of people all around the world who have these similar interests. And, I know a lot of people feel quite isolated, especially if they're suddenly open to the healing journey, but, their family and friends aren't. Then they're trying to find people who they can talk about this stuff with, these deeper conversations that aren't as surface level. So the community aspect of it is there as well. And so that is it. That is the Healing Hub. Matt, anything you want to add in terms of the hub? I think we've pretty much covered everything.
Nah, I can't think of anything that would not be repeating myself.
Yeah. So there should be a comment pinned at the top of this video, the centerforhealing.com, the-healing-hub, that URL there. If you want to get all the details, have a look at it. We've got the different currencies because we have students all around the world now, but here in Australia, it's $27 a month. That's like, what's that? Less than $7 a week. My coffee cost about that. So what we're trying to do here is just pack as much value as we can in for an affordable price. We know the economy and times are tough at the minute. But for $27 a month, you can get access to all these courses, weekly live videos, education and practices, monthly deep dives, and a community. So if this resonates, head to that link, jump into the Healing Hub. We're going to be scheduling our first deep dive. It's probably going to be happening next Monday. So we're looking forward to that and seeing the people that have joined already, seeing their faces on a Zoom call. And with those, once again, you just get emailed out the day and the time for the deep dive and the Zoom link, and it's all done mainly via email. So thank you to everyone that has joined us. Thank you, Matt, for sharing this space with me again. And we put a lot of work into this and are very, very excited for those who choose to join. And just before I finish up, I nearly forgot, there are a few questions that we do get, kind of frequently asked ones, and I just will answer them right now. So is it a contract? No, it's not a contract. So you can cancel the Healing Hub at any time. If you jump in and after a couple of months, for whatever reason, you're like, no, this isn't for me, then you can just literally email our support team and they'll cancel your membership. There is no contract. You're not locked into anything from there. Accessing the content, so you can access the content on laptop, tablet, on your phone. It can be accessed anywhere. We're actually bringing out an app soon, a Center for Healing app. Right now there's a Kajabi app, which is the course hosting platform, but there'll be a Center for Healing app where everyone can get access to their courses and everything, which should be a bit of a smoother experience for everyone. So basically the content can be consumed in very digestible ways. So that is it. That is the Healing Hub. Thank you, everybody. Any questions, or if you're watching the replay later on, just put any comments or questions down below and myself and Matt will jump in there and answer those for you.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, bye.